My precious child, this is not a normal message. This is not something that appears every day. This is not a coincidence. I, Archangel Michael, am speaking under divine command because time around you has shifted. The atmosphere inside your house has changed, and what I am about to reveal may shake you, but it will also protect you. Important alert, Archangel Michael says. Very bad news for you. 5 minutes left. If you leave this, you will cry so much. Open it immediately. This is not just a title. It is a spiritual alarm. There are moments in life when heaven whispers, and there are moments when heaven sounds a trumpet. This is a trumpet. Within the next 5 minutes of your attention, something will be exposed that has been silently operating around you. You have felt it. A sudden heaviness. The unexplained tension. The strange silence in rooms that once felt peaceful. You told yourself it was stress. You blamed it on overthinking. But your spirit knew better. There is very bad news, but listen carefully. It is not about your destruction. It is about revelation. Someone near you has been carrying hidden intentions. Not loud. Not obvious. But subtle. Strategic. Smiling in daylight, whispering in shadow. And heaven has decided that you will not be blindsided. Archangel Michael does not arrive for small matters. When I step forward, it is because a battle line has been drawn. And right now, there is a battle over your peace, your home, and your future. Do not panic. Fear is what the enemy wants. Clarity is what heaven brings. In the spiritual realm, a countdown has already begun. 5 minutes symbolically represent the final window before exposure. Something that was meant to unfold slowly is about to accelerate. Something hidden is about to slip. And if you had ignored this warning, if you had scrolled past this moment, you would have walked straight into heartbreak without preparation. That is why this alert feels urgent. You may have noticed unusual patterns recently. Phone calls that stop when you enter the room. Conversations that shift tone when your name is mentioned. Energy that feels different but cannot be explained. This is not paranoia. This is discernment awakening. I am sent to sharpen your awareness, not to create suspicion. There is a difference. Suspicion is fear-based. Discernment is spirit-led. And what you are experiencing now is divine discernment rising inside you. The very bad news is this. Someone you trusted is not fully aligned with your well-being. Gauze. Breathe. Do not let emotion cloud your mind. Because the second part of this message is more powerful than the first. The exposure will not destroy you. It will protect you. What was meant to break you will instead reveal who truly stands with you. And once revealed, you will realize that heaven prevented something far worse. Have you noticed how certain plans have been delayed recently? Opportunities postponed. Meetings canceled. Agreements stalled. You were frustrated. You asked, why is everything slowing down? It was not delay. It was divine intervention. If events had moved faster, the hidden truth would have stayed hidden longer, and you would have invested deeper into something unstable. The slowdown saved you. Listen carefully now. There is a conversation about you that you were never meant to hear, but it is losing power. Words spoken behind closed doors are being brought into the light. And when light enters, manipulation loses strength. Archangel Michael stands as defender of truth. My sword does not strike people, it cuts deception. And deception around you is thinning. Within days, not months, a subtle shift will occur. A sentence will be spoken. A mistake will be made. A mask will slip. And you will connect the dots instantly. When that happens, do not react impulsively. What? Observe. Let truth reveal itself completely. Because here is the deeper revelation: this exposure is connected to your next level. You cannot step into the blessing prepared for you while carrying hidden betrayal in your circle. A weight must fall off. A wrong alignment must detach. And yes, it may sting for a moment, but it will save you from tears later. That is why I said, if you leave this, you will cry so much. Not because this message causes harm, but because ignoring divine warning leads to preventable pain. You were guided here for a reason. Even now, as you listen, something inside you is confirming this. A name may be rising in your thoughts. A face may be flashing in your mind. Do not accuse. Just observe. The next 5 days are critical. Energy will intensify. Small tensions will surface. Hidden attitudes will flicker into visibility. What was once subtle will become undeniable. And when it does, remember this moment. Remember that heaven alerted you in advance. You are not being attacked randomly. You are being prepared strategically. Because after exposure comes separation. After separation comes clarity. And after clarity comes elevation. Your home will not collapse. Your future will not be stolen. Your tears will not be wasted. Instead, truth will step forward like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. Stay calm. Stay aware. Stay spiritually grounded. This is not the end of something good. This is the end of something false. And when falsehood leaves, peace returns stronger than before. The alert has been delivered. The countdown has begun. And you, my precious child, are already protected. Beloved soul, steady your heart now, because what I am about to unfold will connect the signs you have been noticing with the spiritual movement happening behind the veil. You thought the tension was random. You assumed the discomfort was just emotional sensitivity. But there is a reason your spirit has not been able to fully relax lately. When heaven sends an alert, it is not to frighten you. It is to awaken you before something reaches its peak. Archangel Michael stands at the threshold of your household, not as a distant observer, but as a guardian assigned to your destiny. There has been an unseen pressure trying to test your emotional strength. Words have been spoken in subtle opposition to your progress. Doubt has been planted quietly around your name. And yet, despite all of this, you are still standing. That alone should tell you something powerful. What was meant to weaken you has failed. The very bad news mentioned earlier is not about disaster approaching. It is about truth surfacing. There is a difference. Disaster destroys without warning. Truth exposes with precision. And what is happening now is precise. Calculated. Timed by divine authority. Someone in your environment has been wearing agreement externally while carrying resistance internally. Their energy has shifted whenever your plans move forward. Their enthusiasm has sounded supportive, yet something inside you felt unsettled. That inner check was not imagination. It was protection activating. You must understand this clearly. Exposure is not revenge. Exposure is rescue. If hidden intentions remained hidden, you would have entrusted more responsibility, shared deeper vulnerability, and leaned on someone who was not spiritually aligned with your elevation. The tears you were being saved from would have been heavy later. That is why the warning feels urgent. The window to adjust your awareness is small, but it is enough. In the coming days, pay attention to overreactions. Pay attention to defensiveness when simple questions are asked. Pay attention to inconsistencies in small details. Truth rarely explodes loudly at first. It slips through cracks. And when it does, you will feel a quiet confirmation inside your chest. Do not confront prematurely. Do not accuse impulsively. Remain observant. When you stay calm, deception becomes uncomfortable and exposes itself without force. There is also something else you must prepare for. Once this truth surfaces, there may be emotional manipulation. Guilt may be used to confuse you. Tears may appear to soften consequences. But discernment will be your shield. You are not called to be harsh. You are called to be wise. Archangel Michael does not fight chaos with chaos. I fight it with clarity. And clarity is what you are receiving right now. This message is reaching you at a divine appointment. If something inside you is resonating deeply, acknowledge it. Engage with it. Do not treat this moment casually. When spiritual insight arrives, honor it. Write your thoughts. Reflect quietly. Guard your energy. And let me speak directly to you about something important. If this message is opening your eyes, if it feels like confirmation of what your spirit has been sensing, then do not keep it to yourself. There are others walking in confusion who need this clarity. Like this message so it reaches further. Share it so someone else can be protected before their own hidden truth surfaces. Comment with what you have been sensing, because your voice strengthens this community of awareness. Subscribe and stand connected to this channel so you never miss a divine alert when heaven moves again. When you support and hype this message, you are not promoting a video, you are amplifying protection. And here is something you must hear carefully. The atmosphere around you will shift soon. The person involved may begin to distance themselves naturally. Conversations may reduce. Invitations may decrease. You not chase what begins to withdraw. When misalignment feels exposed, it often retreats on its own. Trust the separation process. There is a blessing waiting on the other side of this clarity. A healthier alliance. A more genuine connection. A stronger sense of peace inside your own space. But that cannot enter until the false layer dissolves. You may feel emotional when the truth becomes undeniable. That is normal. Even when betrayal is subtle, it still stings. But do not interpret the sting as loss. Interpret it as your release. Something lighter is coming. And before this unfolds completely, you will witness a small but undeniable sign. It may be a statement spoken carelessly. It may be a contradiction exposed publicly. It may be someone else revealing information unintentionally. When it happens, you will remember these words and realize you were prepared in advance. Hold your composure when that moment arrives. The way you respond will determine how quickly peace returns to your environment. Stay with this message deeply, because what is about to be revealed next will connect this exposure directly to your future breakthrough. And once you see that connection, everything will make sense in a way you did not expect. Faithful heart, what you are about to understand now is the deeper layer behind this alert, and it is more serious than you first imagined. The tension around you is not random emotion. It is a spiritual signal. Whenever destiny is about to accelerate, hidden resistance begins to surface. This is not coincidence. This is pattern. And Archangel Michael has been assigned to stand between you and what was forming quietly behind your back. The very bad news is this: the exposure will not only reveal a person's hidden intention, it will reveal a strategy that was slowly positioning itself against your progress. Not dramatic, not obvious, but subtle enough to influence outcomes if left unnoticed. You may have recently questioned your own instincts. You wondered why certain compliments felt hollow, why encouragement sounded rehearsed, why support lacked warmth. These were not overreactions. These were spiritual alarms gently ringing inside you. What was being built in secret was not direct harm, but quiet sabotage. Advice that slightly misdirected you. Suggestions that subtly delayed you. Energy that dampened your excitement when you shared good news. And over time, those small shifts could have redirected your entire path. That is why heaven intervened. Archangel Michael does not move without divine permission. When I step into your atmosphere, it is because the line between protection and consequence has been reached. And for you, that line was approaching quickly. Within the next few days, a situation will arise that forces truth to stand upright. It may appear small at first. A disagreement, a contradiction, a reaction that feels out of proportion. But behind that small moment, a larger reality will be exposed. You will see consistency clearly. And when you do, you must resist the urge to immediately confront. The greater victory is in observation. When someone believes their mask is still secure, they reveal more. Silence will give you more clarity than argument ever could. There is something else you must prepare your heart for. Once truth is undeniable, there may be attempts to rewrite history. Words like "you misunderstood" or "that's not what I meant" may surface. This is where discernment becomes your shield. Do not allow guilt to cloud what was clearly shown to you. You were not warned to become suspicious of everyone. You were warned so that you could detach from misalignment before it became entanglement. Because your next season cannot tolerate hidden resistance. There is expansion ahead, a new opportunity, new favor, new visibility. And not everyone assigned to your past is permitted into your elevation. If they carried jealousy in small moments, elevation would magnify it. If they carried doubt quietly, promotion would expose it loudly. Heaven is removing instability before acceleration. The exposure will feel uncomfortable, but it will also feel relieving. A weight you did not fully identify will lift. Conversations will become clearer. Decisions will feel firmer. Your energy will stabilize. This is not loss. This is purification of your circle. And now hear this carefully. The countdown that was mentioned earlier symbolized urgency, not panic. 5 minutes represents the final grace period before revelation. You are inside that grace window right now. That means you still have the advantage of preparation. Pray for clarity, not conflict. Pray for peace, not punishment. When your intention stays pure, justice unfolds naturally. Archangel Michael stands with sword drawn, not against flesh and blood, but against deception. And deception is losing its ground around you. Something that was whispered will soon be confirmed. Something that felt off will soon make sense. And when that moment arrives, you will realize that this message was mercy. Do not be afraid of what is being revealed. Be grateful that it is being revealed now and not later. Your tears are being prevented. Your trust is being refined. Your discernment is being strengthened. And your future is being guarded. When clarity fully lands, do not harden your heart. Learn from it. Grow through it. Strengthen your boundaries without losing your kindness. Protection does not require bitterness. It requires wisdom. The atmosphere around your home is already shifting. Peace is slowly reclaiming territory. The heaviness you felt is weakening. The hidden tension is thinning. Stay spiritually grounded in the coming days. Avoid unnecessary emotional reactions. Watch calmly. Listen carefully. Let truth complete its own exposure. Because once it does, a door that seemed delayed will suddenly open with surprising speed. Now receive this activation with intention. Type "I receive divine exposure" in the comments if this message confirms what your spirit had been sensing. Blessing code 4591 has just been released over your household. And as this truth unfolds, understand something sacred. This mission of warning and protection must continue reaching others before their own hidden battles erupt. When you sow into this channel through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal listed in the description, you are not funding content, you are igniting light in dark rooms. The Lord declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," and today that promise breathes over you. When you feel the stirring to give, that is not pressure, that is divine invitation. This is your moment to become a vessel that carries oil into someone else's midnight. Act swiftly and obey the prompting placed in your spirit. As you release your seed, may protection surround your home and abundance answer you openly. Step into this obedience now and seal this revelation with action. Chosen one, now that the veil has begun to lift, you must understand what happens immediately after exposure begins. There is always a spiritual reaction when truth surfaces. Energy shifts. Atmospheres adjust. And people who were comfortable in hidden positions suddenly feel unstable. This is not something you need to trigger. It happens naturally when light enters a space that was used to shadows. Archangel Michael stands not only as a revealer but as a stabilizer. Because once truth begins to move, emotions can rise quickly. And if emotions take control, clarity can become clouded again. That is why this next phase requires calm strength. In the coming days, you may notice one of two reactions from the person involved. Either they will grow unusually distant, or they will attempt to become overly attentive. Both are signs of internal imbalance. When someone senses that their hidden intentions are weakening, they either retreat or overcompensate. Do not let either reaction confuse you. Distance does not mean you were wrong. Overattention does not mean everything is fixed. Stay centered. Stay observant. Let consistency reveal authenticity. There is also a deeper layer unfolding that you cannot yet see fully. The exposure is not only about a person. It is about a pattern that needed to be broken in your life. You have tolerated subtle misalignment before. You have excused small red flags in the past. You have chosen peace over confrontation even when your spirit felt uneasy. But elevation demands new standards. Archangel Michael is not only guarding you from external dissection. I am strengthening your internal boundaries. Because protection is not just about removing the wrong people. It is about refining your discernment so that future misalignments cannot gain access easily. You are stepping into a season where your time, energy, and trust will become more valuable. And not everyone will qualify for full access. This is growth. You may feel a quiet sadness as clarity settles in. Even when betrayal is subtle, it carries disappointment. You believed in someone's loyalty. You assumed shared intentions. And realizing that the alignment was incomplete can feel heavy. Allow yourself to feel without collapsing into bitterness. There is a difference between being hurt and being hardened. They're gonna heal. Hardened hearts block future blessings. Do not let one exposure shut you down from future genuine connections. Remember this carefully. The revelation is not punishment. It is preparation. Something new is forming beyond this moment. A new partnership. A new alliance. A new support system that operates with transparency and honor. But before that can enter, your spiritual lens must be sharpened. And it is sharpening right now. You may begin to recall past conversations and suddenly see them differently. Statements that once seemed harmless may now reveal subtle undertones. Promises that felt sincere may now appear calculated. Do not dwell excessively on replaying the past. Take the lesson and move forward. Archangel Michael's sword cuts forward, not backward. There is also practical instruction for you in this season. Reduce oversharing. Guard your plans quietly. Not everyone needs full access to your next move. Silence can be powerful protection. Watch how peace begins to return as you pull back your energy. Watch how your home feels lighter when you stop explaining yourself unnecessarily. Watch how clarity increases when you stop seeking validation from those who were never fully aligned. This is not isolation. This is strategic positioning. You are being repositioned for strength. Soon, there will be a defining moment. A situation where your boundaries will be tested directly. It may be a request that feels unreasonable. It may be a comment that subtly undermines you. That moment will be your confirmation. Respond with calm firmness. Not anger. Not fear. Calm firmness. That response will signal that you are no longer spiritually accessible to manipulation. And once that signal is sent, the dynamic will permanently shift. After that shift, you will feel something unexpected, relief. Relief that you no longer have to question your instincts. Relief that tension is no longer hidden beneath surface conversations. Relief that you chose clarity over comfort. And in that relief, momentum will begin to build again in your life. Delaying progress will restart. Opportunities that felt stuck will begin to move. Conversations that seemed blocked will open. Because hidden resistance will no longer be subtly draining your momentum. Archangel Michael hath been clearing interference. Trust the timing of this revelation. Trust the discomfort of this transition. Trust the wisdom forming inside you. You are not losing something essential. You are shedding something unstable. And when the shedding completes, your foundation will feel stronger than it has in a long time. Stand firm in the days ahead. Speak less. Observe more. Guard your energy carefully. Clarity has begun its work. And what clarity starts, elevation will finish. Steadfast soul, now you are entering the quiet but powerful phase where truth settles into reality. Exposure is one moment. Adjustment is a process. You may already feel the emotional waves shifting inside you. Some moments you feel strong and certain. Other moments you feel reflective and even slightly wounded. This is normal. When illusions dissolve, the heart needs time to reorganize itself around truth. Archangel Michael is not only concerned with revealing deception. I am concerned with restoring your inner equilibrium. Because if your peace is not restored, the lesson remains incomplete. Listen carefully now. The person whose misalignment is being revealed may not even fully understand their own motives. Jealousy can hide under admiration. Competition can disguise itself as friendship. Insecurity can mask itself as advice. This does not excuse behavior, but it explains why subtle sabotage can exist without loud hostility. You must resist the temptation to label them as entirely evil. Not every misaligned person is malicious. Some are simply not healed enough to walk beside your calling without feeling threatened by it. And your calling is rising. That is the deeper truth behind this alert. Your growth has accelerated recently. Your confidence has increased. Your ideas have expanded. And when growth accelerates, it exposes the difference between those who celebrate you and those who tolerate you. Tolerance feels polite but cold. Celebration feels warm and energizing. Pay attention to the difference. In the coming days, you may notice that your energy feels clearer when certain people are absent. Conversations may feel lighter. Your thoughts may feel more creative. Your sleep may improve. These are subtle confirmations that hidden tension was draining you more than you realized. Energy does not lie. Archangel Michael has been reinforcing your discernment so that you no longer ignore energetic warnings. The heaviness you used to brush aside will now feel unmistakable. That is growth. That is maturity in spirit. There is also a divine rearrangement happening behind the scenes. As one connection weakens, another will begin to strengthen. You may meet someone new unexpectedly. You may reconnect with someone from your past who now feels aligned. You may receive support from a direction you did not anticipate. Heaven never moves without preparing replacement alignment. Do not cling to what is detaching. The very bad news that was warned about was not destruction. It was misplaced trust. And misplaced trust can be corrected. True disaster would have been discovering this after irreversible damage. Instead, you are discovering it while you still have control. That is protection. But now comes responsibility. You must adjust your boundaries accordingly. Not grammatically, not loudly, simply firmly. Share less personal detail. Seek counsel from those who have proven consistency. Observe patterns over promises. Promises are easy. Patterns reveal truth. Here will also be a test of your emotional discipline. The person involved may sense your shift. They may attempt to provoke a reaction to confirm their suspicion that you are pulling away. Do not take the bait. Calmness will frustrate manipulation more than confrontation ever could. Silence, when used wisely, is power. You may feel the urge to explain everything you have noticed. Resist that urge unless necessary. Clarity does not require speech. Sometimes it only requires adjustment. And here is something crucial. Do not isolate yourself completely out of fear. One misaligned connection does not mean everyone around you carries hidden motives. Balance wisdom with openness. Archangel Michael is not guiding you into suspicion of all people. I am guiding you into refinement of access. Soon, you will experience a moment of confirmation that removes any lingering doubt. It may not be dramatic. It may simply be a tone shift, an inconsistency, or an unexpected reveal from a third party. When that happens, you will feel a calm certainty rather than shock. That calm certainty is your sign that you have spiritually matured through this. After confirmation, a new chapter begins. Your home will feel more peaceful. Your mind will feel clearer. Your decisions will feel stronger. The subtle drain will be gone. And in that clarity, your next opportunity will approach. What was delayed will return with better timing. What felt blocked will move with smoother energy. What seemed uncertain will align quickly. Because hidden resistance will no longer be interfering with your momentum. You are not losing support. You are upgrading alignment. Stand firm in this transition. Speak carefully. Act wisely. Protect your peace intentionally. The alert was necessary. The exposure was mercy. The adjustment is growth. And what comes next will prove that this uncomfortable revelation was the doorway to something far greater than you expected. Courageous one, now you are standing at the invisible turning point where what was once hidden has almost completely lost its grip. You may not see fireworks. You may not hear loud confessions. But something subtle and powerful has shifted in your favor. The energy that once felt heavy now feels thinner. The confusion that clouded your thoughts has begun to clear. And the quiet anxiety that followed you through certain interactions is slowly dissolving. Archangel Michael has not only exposed misalignment, I have weakened its influence. There was a silent tension that operated like a background noise in your life. It did not scream. It did not openly attack. But it subtly influenced your confidence. It slightly altered your decisions. It gently made you second-guess yourself. That noise is fading now. And as it fades, your natural strength is returning. You may begin to notice that you are thinking more independently. You are trusting your instincts more boldly. You are less eager to seek approval from certain voices. That is not pride. That is restoration. The very bad news that was warned about is now transforming into very good awareness. What once could have caused tears is now producing wisdom. And wisdom will protect you far beyond this moment. There is something else unfolding that you must pay attention to. When manipulation loses control, it sometimes attempts one final effort to regain influence. This could appear as sudden kindness, unexpected vulnerability, or dramatic storytelling designed to pull on your compassion. Be kind, but be discerning. Not every emotional display is malicious, but timing reveals intention. If emotional openness appears only when distance begins, observe carefully. You are not required to solve someone else's insecurity at the expense of your peace. Archangel Michael strengthens those who choose wisdom over emotional pressure. Stand calmly. Respond gently. But do not surrender clarity. Soon a new alignment will approach you. It may begin as a simple conversation. It may begin as an unexpected opportunity. It may begin as a person who listens without subtle competition. Pay attention to how you feel around them. Peace is the indicator. Peace does not compete. Peace does not subtly undermine. Peace does not drain. You are being repositioned into circles where your growth is celebrated rather than tolerated. This shift will also influence your environment. Your home will begin to feel lighter. Conversations will become less tense. Your creativity will increase. You may even feel inspired to rearrange your physical space, clean more deeply, or refresh your surroundings. That is symbolic. When spiritual clutter clears, physical environments often follow. Now hear this clearly. Do not rush the final phase of exposure. Allow it to complete naturally. If something needs to be said, it will present the right timing. If silence is more powerful, you will sense that too. Your maturity is being tested quietly, and this is where your participation matters. If this message is strengthening your discernment, if it feels like confirmation of what you have been sensing for weeks, then engage with it actively. Like this message so it continues reaching others who may be standing at the edge of hidden deception. Share it with someone who needs spiritual clarity before they invest deeper into the wrong alignment. Comment with what you have been experiencing, because your testimony strengthens others who feel alone in their intuition. Subscribe and remain connected to this channel so you never miss a divine alert when protection is moving again. When you hype and support this message, you are amplifying awareness and guarding more households than you realize. And hold on, because what is forming next will surprise you in the best way. The space that misalignment occupied is not meant to stay empty. It is being prepared for reinforcement. You will receive affirmation from an unexpected source. You will receive confirmation that you are valued correctly. You will receive support that feels genuine rather than strategic. When that happens, do not compare it to the past. Simply receive it. Archangel Michael is not only removing what was unstable. I am ushering in what is steady. The countdown that once felt urgent is now becoming a doorway. The 5 minutes of warning have transformed into long-term protection. And you will soon look back at this season and realize that what felt threatening was actually preserving you from deeper disappointment. Stay steady in the coming days. Respond slowly. Observe quietly. Strengthen boundaries calmly. You are not reacting out of fear. You are acting out of clarity. And clarity, once fully rooted, becomes unshakable strength. Keep watching closely, because the final confirmation is nearer than you think, and when it lands, It will close this chapter permanently while opening something far greater ahead. Warrior of light, you are now approaching the moment where confirmation becomes undeniable. Up until now, everything had been subtle. Energy shifts, small inconsistencies, quiet discernment. But soon, what has been forming beneath the surface will step into plain sight. Not loudly, not grammatically, but clearly enough that you will no longer question your intuition. Archangel Michael has been holding the line while truth gathered its strength. Exposure does not always happen instantly because clarity must be undeniable. When truth surfaces prematurely, it can be dismissed. When it surfaces at the appointed time, it cannot be argued away. You are nearing that appointed time. There will be a conversation or event that feels ordinary at first. It may begin casually. It may appear insignificant. But in that moment, something will slip. A contradiction will reveal itself. A tone will betray hidden resentment. A detail will surface that connects everything you have been sensing. And when it happens, you will feel still rather than shock. That stillness is your confirmation. You will not need outside validation. You will not need to ask multiple people for interpretation. The clarity will land cleanly inside you. And once it does, there will be no turning back to ignorance. This is where strength becomes essential. Because once you see clearly, you must decide how to respond. Not emotionally, not impulsively, but strategically. Archangel Michael does not instruct you to create confrontation. I instruct you to establish boundaries. Boundaries are not walls of anger. They are lines of wisdom. They quietly communicate. This is where access ends. The person involved may attempt one final redirection. They may minimize what was revealed. They may shift focus to your reaction instead of their inconsistency. This is a common tactic when truth threatens control. Do not argue the obvious. When clarity is clean, silence is powerful. You are not obligated to convince anyone of what you have seen. You are only responsible for adjusting your involvement accordingly. There may also be a brief emotional release after confirmation. You might feel disappointment more deeply than expected. You might replay memories with new understanding. You might grieve the version of the relationship you thought existed. Allow yourself that moment. Grief does not mean weakness. It means you cared sincerely. And sincerity is still one of your strengths. But do not stay in grief longer than necessary. The purpose of this revelation is not to anchor you in sadness. It is to free you from illusion. Once the final confirmation lands, a decisive calm will follow. You will feel lighter, even if slightly saddened. You will feel clearer, even if slightly reflective. That combination is maturity. And from that maturity, the acceleration begins. Because what has been delayed is waiting for the removal of hidden interference. You may notice sudden forward movement in areas that felt stagnant. A plan that seemed stalled may suddenly gain approval. A conversation that felt blocked may open unexpectedly. An opportunity that seemed distant may reappear with better timing. This is not coincidence. When misalignment detaches, momentum returns. Archangel Michael has been clearing more than you realized. The exposure was only the visible part. Behind the scenes, obstacles were being dismantled. Resistance was being weakened. Spiritual pressure was being lifted. And now you are stepping into cleaner air. Pay attention to how your body feels after confirmation. You may sleep better. You may breathe deeper. You may think more clearly. That is the absence of subtle stress you had grown used to carrying. You were adapting to tension without realizing it. Now you are returning to peace. There is also a final layer you must understand. This revelation is teaching you to trust your discernment permanently. The next time you sense subtle misalignment, you will not ignore it. The next time energy feels off, you will investigate it calmly instead of dismissing it. This is growth earned through experience. Do not resent the lesson. Appreciate the sharpening. Archangel Michael does not protect by isolating you from all discomfort. I protect by strengthening you through revelation so that future deception cannot root easily. And now, as this chapter nears its closure, you are stronger, wiser, and more aware than before. Stand firm in the coming days. Speak less. Observe more. Adjust quietly. Let actions reflect clarity rather than explanations. The exposure has nearly completed its work, and once the final piece falls into place, you will step forward with a steadiness that cannot be shaken by subtle opposition again. Prepare yourself, because what comes next is not another warning. It is elevation. Anointed soul, what you are experiencing now is the sacred silence that follows revelation. The noise has settled. The confusion has thinned. The emotional storm that once threatened your peace has weakened into clarity. And in this stillness, you are beginning to see how divinely orchestrated this entire alert truly was. Archangel Michael did not interrupt your path to frighten you. I stepped forward because your destiny required protection at a precise moment. If exposure had come later, the damage would have been deeper. If it had come earlier, you might not have recognized its importance. But now, you understand. There is a different strength in your posture. You are less reactive, less eager to explain yourself, less dependent on approval, and more grounded in your own discernment. This is transformation. The person whose misalignment was revealed may now appear smaller in influence than they once seemed. That is because clarity shrinks what illusion magnified. What once felt intimidating now feels manageable. What once felt confusing now feels simple. You were never weak. You were navigating incomplete information. Now you have full sight. There is also something beautiful forming beneath this closure. Space has opened in your life. Emotional space. Mental space. Spiritual space. And heaven does not allow empty spaces to remain unfilled for long. A new alignment is approaching, but this time it will not arrive with subtle tension. It will arrive with peace. The conversation will feel easy. The support will feel natural. Encouragement will feel genuine rather than measured. And you will recognize the difference immediately. Do not rush into filling the space just because it feels empty. Allow divine timing to introduce the right connections. The lesson you have just lived through has sharpened your awareness. Use it. There may still be brief attempts from the past to re-enter your emotional space. Messages may come. Invitations may appear. Nostalgia may whisper. Remember the clarity you received. Do not romanticize what truth has already exposed. Compassion is allowed. Re-entry without change is not. Archangel Michael strengthens you to move forward, not to circle back into misalignment. Growth sometimes requires leaving behind what once felt familiar. And now your elevation is closer than ever. The delays you experienced were not permanent. They were protective pauses. Soon you will see movement accelerate in unexpected ways. Opportunities will feel smoother. Decisions will feel easier. Doors that seemed closed will open without strain. You may even feel a renewed sense of excitement about your future. That excitement is not naive. It is restoration. The very bad news that once sounded threatening has now revealed itself as divine mercy. Tears were prevented. Trust was refined. Boundaries were strengthened. and your spiritual discernment mature. This is victory without chaos. And now, as you stand in this new clarity, seal it intentionally. Type "I walk in divine clarity" in the comments if you feel the shift inside you. Blessing code 8824 is now activated over your path. As this chapter closes and new alignment approaches, understand that this message is not only for you. There are countless souls standing in silent confusion, sensing misalignment but lacking confirmation. When you release a super thanks, join membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are placing oil in the lamp of someone still walking in the dark. The Lord declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down and overflowing," and that word is alive over your obedience. When you feel the stirring to act, that is heaven inviting you into partnership, not obligation. Your seed becomes light that exposes deception in another household. Move quickly when the Spirit nudges you, because delayed obedience can delay someone else's rescue. As you give, may doors open before you that no hidden resistance can close. Step into this prophetic act now and release your support with authority. You have crossed the threshold. Clarity is no longer approaching. It has arrived. And what stands before you now is not another warning, but the unfolding of the blessing that was waiting for this exact moment of awareness. Favored one, now that clarity has settled into your spirit, you are entering a season that feels different from anything you have recently experienced. It is quieter but stronger, calmer but more powerful. This is the season where elevation begins to show visible signs. Archangel Michael has not only removed hidden resistance, I have secured the ground beneath your next step. You are no longer walking on uncertain emotional terrain. You are standing on reinforced spiritual foundation. There is a noticeable shift in your confidence. You may not be speaking louder, but you are thinking clearer. You may not be moving faster, but you are moving surer. That quiet certainty is the evidence of protection completed. You will soon recognize how much energy you were unconsciously spending managing subtle tension. When hidden misalignment exists, even small interactions require mental calculation. You measure your words. You filter your excitement. You adjust your tone. That invisible labor drains strength. Now that drain has stopped, your creativity will begin to expand. Ideas that once felt blocked will return with sharper focus. Plans that seemed complicated will simplify. You will feel more decisive, less hesitant. This is not coincidence. It is the restoration of undivided energy. There may still be echoes of the past attempting to revisit your thoughts. Memories may surface. Questions may arise about whether you handled everything correctly. Let those thoughts pass without anchoring to them. You responded with maturity. You chose clarity over chaos. That is enough. Archangel Michael stands not only as guardian, but as witness. The way you navigated exposure without unnecessary destruction has strengthened your authority. You did not react recklessly. You did not ignite unnecessary conflict. You chose measured wisdom. That choice has positioned you for greater responsibility. Soon, you will notice that people begin treating you differently. Your words will carry more weight. Your boundaries will be respected more easily. Your presence will feel steadier. This is the external reflection of internal growth. There is also a spiritual reward unfolding quietly. Because you handled revelation with discipline, heaven trusts you with greater insight. Your discernment will become sharper in future situations. You will sense motives quickly. You will read atmospheres accurately. You will identify alignment almost instantly. This is not suspicion. This is refined perception. And with refined perception comes faster progress. You may receive an opportunity that once felt unreachable. It might involve career movement, financial improvement, or relational expansion. Whatever form it takes, it will feel aligned rather than forced. It will not require you to compromise your boundaries. It will not demand that you ignore your intuition. That is how you will know it is ordained. Archangel Michael clears paths that match your integrity. There is something else you must prepare for. When elevation becomes visible, those who once underestimated you may attempt to re-establish proximity. They may suddenly acknowledge your growth. They may speak more positively. They may seek inclusion. Discern carefully. Forgiveness is powerful, but access must be earned through consistency. Do not reopen doors that were closed by wisdom unless change is clearly demonstrated over time. Your peace is now your priority. You will also feel a renewed connection to your spiritual center. Prayer may feel deeper. Reflection may feel clearer. Gratitude may feel stronger. These are signs that your internal alignment has been restored. The very bad news that once sounded alarming has now transformed into one of the greatest turning points of your life. What felt like threat was protection. What felt like tension was transition. What felt like exposure was elevation preparation. Look at how far you have come in just a short span of time. From confusion to clarity. From tension to steadiness. From uncertainty to authority. This is growth accelerated. Archangel Michael did not simply warn you. I walked with you through every phase of revelation, stabilization, and restoration, and now you stand stronger than before. The chapter that once felt heavy is closing fully. There will be no dramatic ending, just a quiet understanding that you have outgrown that level, and ahead of you stands a new level of alignment. Stay humble. Stay grounded. Stay observant. Your next breakthrough is not coming through conflict. It is coming through clarity maintained. And very soon, you will look back at this alert and realize it marked the exact moment your life shifted toward something greater than you imagined. Steadfast child of destiny, you are now stepping into the visible manifestation of everything that was unfolding invisibly around you. This is where the shift becomes undeniable. What once felt like a warning has turned into momentum. What once felt like tension has transformed into movement. Archangel Michael did not simply remove hidden resistance. I reposition you for acceleration. You may already sense it. Conversations are flowing more smoothly. Decisions are being made faster. Opportunities are presenting themselves without excessive struggle. The path ahead does not feel crowded with uncertainty anymore. It feels open. That openness is not accidental. It is the result of clarity defended. When misalignment lingers in your circle, progress moves slowly because energy is divided. Now your energy is unified. You are no longer subconsciously managing doubt, second-guessing loyalty, or adjusting your enthusiasm to avoid subtle resistance. You are moving freely, and freedom creates speed. There may be a defining opportunity approaching that will test how much you trust this new clarity. It could be an offer that requires boldness, a conversation that requires confident articulation, a decision that requires swift commitment. When it appears, do not shrink back into old hesitation. You have already passed the harder test. The exposure refined your discernment. The adjustment strengthened your boundaries. And now the opportunity will reward your growth. Archangel Michael stands not only as protector but as activator. When one season closes correctly, the next does not struggle to begin. It unfolds. There will also be visible confirmation that the person or situation once causing subtle tension no longer holds influence over your direction. You may observe them moving into a different space, You may see circumstances shifting that remove them from close proximity. That will not require your force. It will happen naturally. That is divine alignment correcting itself. And as that correction finalizes, your confidence will deepen further. You will speak more directly. You will plan more boldly. You will trust your instincts without constant verification. This is maturity earned through experience. If this message has walked with you through revelation, stabilization, and now elevation, then engage with it intentionally. Like this message so it continues reaching those standing at the edge of hidden misalignment. Share it with someone who needs confirmation before they ignore their intuition again. Comment with what shifted for you during this journey, because your voice strengthens others navigating silent tension. Subscribe and remain aligned with this channel so you never miss a divine alert when protection and promotion intersect again. When you actively support and hype this message, you are multiplying clarity across households that may not even realize they need it yet. And here is something powerful you must understand before moving forward. Elevation attracts observation. As your progress becomes visible, others will watch more closely. Some will be inspired. Some will be curious. A few may feel challenged. But you are no longer responsible for shrinking to make others comfortable. You are responsible for walking in integrity. The very bad news that once sounded threatening has now fully transformed into a testimony of preservation. If you had ignored the alert, you might have invested deeper into unstable ground. Instead, you adjusted early. You corrected course. You protected your peace. That wisdom will now multiply your results. There is a sense of restoration settling into your environment. Your home feels calmer. Your mind feels clearer. Your body feels less tense. These are not small details. They are evidence that hidden stress had been removed. Archangel Michael has sealed this chapter. But remain watchful in humility. Do not allow pride to replace discernment. Growth does not eliminate the need for awareness. It strengthens it. Soon, a door will open that confirms everything you endured was preparation. When that door opens, you will recognize it immediately because it will not feel heavy. It will not feel forced. It will feel aligned. And when you step through it, you will realize that the warning was not about fear. It was about positioning. Keep listening carefully, because what comes next will reveal how this elevation connects to a larger purpose unfolding around you, one that reaches beyond your personal experience into something far greater. Chosen vessel, you are now standing at the edge of a realization that stretches far beyond personal protection. Everything that has unfolded was not only about shielding you from hidden misalignment. It was about preparing you for influence. Because what you have just walked through has given you something rare, tested discernment. Archangel Michael does not invest this level of intervention without purpose. Protection is never random. Exposure is never wasted. Every revealed truth was shaping you into someone who can carry greater responsibility without being easily deceived. Look at yourself, now compared to where you were at the beginning of this alert. Then, you felt tension without clarity. Now you carry clarity without tension. That is transformation. You are thinking differently. You are observing more carefully. You are speaking more intentionally. These are the signs of spiritual promotion. There is a larger assignment forming around you. Soon, someone close to you will face a situation similar to what you experienced. They may sense misalignment but doubt their intuition. They may feel subtle tension but lack confirmation. And because you have walked through this, you will recognize the signs immediately. Your wisdom will become their protection. That is how divine cycles work. What saves you becomes insight for others. Archangel Michael prepares guardians, not just survivors. You are being shaped into someone who can stand firm in truth and guide others gently toward clarity. There will also be an expansion in your confidence when speaking about boundaries. Before, you might have hesitated to articulate your limits. Now, you understand their necessity. Your voice will carry calm authority, not aggression, not fear. Authority. This authority will open doors in areas you did not expect. Professional respect may increase. Social interactions may shift in your favor. People may seek your perspective more often. They will sense that you see beyond surface appearances, that perception is earned. The exposure you endured strengthens your inner alignment, and inner alignment creates outer influence. There may still be moments when the past attempts to whisper. A memory may surface. A brief doubt may arise. But those whispers will not destabilize you anymore. They will simply remind you how far you have grown. Archangel Michael stands as witness to your maturity. You did not allow revelation to make you bitter. You allowed it to make you wiser. You did not let disappointment close your heart. You refined your boundaries without losing your compassion. That balance is rare. Now elevation will continue quietly but steadily. You may notice improved financial flow, smoother communication in important relationships, or increased creative clarity. These are not random blessings. They are the natural result of removed interference. Energy once divided is now focused. Focus multiplies results. And there is one final understanding you must embrace before this journey completes. The alert was urgent because destiny was near. If you had remained entangled in subtle misalignment, you might have stepped into your next level carrying instability with you. Heaven prevented that. The 5-minute urgency symbolized a closing window of hidden influence. You responded in awareness. You adjusted in wisdom. And because you did, your path ahead is cleaner than it would have been. Soon, a confirmation will arrive that feels like quiet celebration. It may not involve applause. It may not involve public recognition. But inside you will know that you have crossed into a stronger version of yourself. Archangel Michael does not measure victory by noise. I measure it by stability. And you are stable. As you step forward from here, maintain the habits that protected you. Observe before trusting fully. Listen before sharing deeply. Pray before reacting quickly. These practices will guard your future more effectively than any external warning. The season of hidden tension has ended. The season of refined authority has begun. And what stands ahead is not another alert, not another exposure, but the unfolding of purpose that required you to be this steady. Prepare yourself, because the final revelation will connect everything together in a way that seals this journey permanently and activates the next chapter of your calling. Beloved child of the Most High, this is the closing of the alert and the sealing of your elevation. When this message first reached you, it carried urgency. It sounded like danger. It felt intense. Very bad news for you. 5 minutes left. Those words were not meant to terrify you. They were meant to wake you before something subtle grew stronger. Now look at where you stand. You are no longer confused. You are no longer tense. You are no longer second-guessing your discernment. Archangel Michael delivered a warning, but what unfolded was protection. What seemed like a threat became a turning point. What sounded like bad news became the very thing that preserved your peace, your home, and your destiny. The 5 minutes symbolized divine interruption. Heaven stepped into your timeline before hidden resistance could entangle you further. If you had ignored that spiritual nudge, if you had dismissed that inner discomfort, you might have invested deeper into unstable ground. Instead, you listened. And because you listened, tears were prevented. This final revelation connects everything together. The exposure was not about embarrassment for someone else. It was about alignment for you. It was about cleansing your path before acceleration. It was about teaching you to trust your spiritual instincts without apology. Now you walk differently. You are not suspicious, but you are aware. You are not hardened, but you are wise. You are not fearful, but you are discerning. This is spiritual maturity. Archangel Michael stands at the edge of this completed chapter and declares something over you. What once tried to drain you will never again have that level of access. A lesson has been learned. The boundary has been established. The clarity has been anchored. And now, elevation moves without resistance. You will see it in your decisions. You will feel it in your home. You will recognize it in your conversations. You will sense it in your opportunities. Peace will no longer feel fragile. It will feel rooted. There is also blessing attached to obedience. Because you responded to warning instead of ignoring it, you will now receive acceleration instead of delay. Something that seemed postponed will return with better timing. Something that looked uncertain will stabilize. Something that felt distant will draw closer. The season of silent tension has ended. The season of stable growth has begun. And hear this clearly, you will not cry over what was exposed. You will be grateful it was revealed when it was. One day soon, you will look back and say, if that had remained hidden longer, I would have suffered more deeply. But heaven intervened. Archangel Michael intervened. This is not just the end of a warning. This is the beginning of a higher level of awareness that will guard you for years to come. Now seal this journey with intention. Type "I step into my elevation" in the comments if you receive this confirmation. Blessing code 7319 is now released over your future. And as this final seal rests upon you, understand this sacred truth. This message was not sent to you alone. There are souls right now standing in silent confusion, seconds away from investing deeper into hidden misalignment. When you release a super thanks, join membership, or so through the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are opening heavens over someone else's warning. The Lord declares, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease, and that promise breathes over your obedience today. When you feel the stirring in your heart to give, that is my invitation moving through you. Your seed becomes fire that exposes darkness and oil that keeps another lamp burning. Do not delay this prophetic response. As you give, may protection surround your household and abundance answer you swiftly. Step forward now and seal this mission with action. This alert is complete. You are protected. You are elevated. You are prepared. Walk forward without fear. Archangel Michael stands with you.